In today's video, we're going to be talking about shoulder pain that you might get when your heart rate goes up, when you're doing cardio, you're doing something intense and your shoulder just starts hurting and you can't figure out why. We're going to talk about a potential reason this happens, and we're going to talk about some potential fixes and some exercises you can do to make your shoulder feel more secure and more comfortable when you're doing cardio. So if you're ready, let's get ready to think right, move right, and feel right. So I had a user of the Shoulder Fix program email me and tell me that he had shoulder surgery and did shoulder rehab, and that as he was doing cardio and getting his heart rate up after all this, he was noticing that the back of his shoulder would hurt a bunch, and he noticed playing hockey that his shoulder would start to hurt the more tired he got. And he was wondering, what the heck is going on? What is this about? Because the surgeon has no idea. The surgeon doesn't know why my shoulder hurts when my heart rate goes up. I also want to ask, when do you notice your shoulders start to hurt? Is it one shoulder? Is it both shoulders? What's the activity? Is it running? Is it walking? Is it playing tennis? What have you been doing to fix that problem? Or if you've already solved it, how did you solve your shoulder pain problems? Drop your knowledge bombs in the comment section down below. So today I'm offering my best guess based on my own experience with shoulder pain that would get worse when I was doing running, or also when my heart rate was going up. I used to have a lot of shoulder pain in my right shoulder. I couldn't lie on it. I noticed that when I would run, it would just feel super unstable. And I just noticed that it would not enjoy playing hockey or doing much of anything like throwing, and surfing would have been completely out of the question. One thing I noticed with my shoulder was that when I was doing anything that was a little more intense, it would start to hurt a lot more, and I suspect that's what was happening for my Shoulder Fix student. So why was this happening? Well, as we get into more intense physical situations, when we're really exerting ourselves, we tend to get into a little bit more of a stressed out state, right? We're like, oh, we're trying harder, and what is happening when we're trying harder? Whenever we're trying harder and flexing everything and not being as precise and relaxed about how we're doing our motions, we start to create basically universal flexion, meaning we start to flex and go into a hunch, and we start to round, and we start to protect, we start to get ready to fight, because sometimes life is a fight. And as we're getting into this position, what's happening to our shoulders? They're hiking up, they're rounding forward, and that is going to make more obvious any sort of weaknesses and imbalances that we have around the shoulder. So if we have weakness in the back of the shoulder, like in the rear delts and the rotator cuff muscles, or the muscles that are between the shoulder blades and the rhomboids, the mid traps, the lower traps, if those are weak, if those are not stabilizing that shoulder, it's not going to feel so good. So we want to make sure that we're able to use those muscles, and that those muscles are well balanced, because it's really easy, especially if you're a male and you're really into your sports and you're in the gym all the time, to be overdoing just the muscles in the front of your chest and shoulders and very rarely training the stuff back here. These little things are just not so fun to train and not so interesting, and nobody compares how much they can externally rotate with a dumbbell. So if you're experiencing shoulder pain while doing cardio or high intensity whatever, it can be a really good idea to make sure you strengthen some of the muscles of the posterior shoulder. I'm going to show you some very simple ways to do that at home. You don't even have to go to the gym, and it's going to help just build up those tiny little muscles that stabilize your arm bone to your scapula. And if you watch through to the end of the video, I'm also going to include some resources to help you with getting the scapula to retract properly. I want to say a big thanks to Mary, Wilson, Susanna, and Elizabeth for your PayPal donation. If you'd like to support my channel too, use the thanks button or the PayPal link that you'll find down in the description box. And hey, don't forget, you can click the join button down below to become a supporting member. So one of my favorite ways to start building the strength of these shoulder rotators out here is actually to just get up against the wall, get your butt up against the wall, and then hinge forward. You don't have to get totally forward so that you're parallel with the floor, but just get bent forward enough that you can feel like when you do this motion, it's a bit of a challenge. The idea here is to just create external rotation. Your fists are pointing down towards the floor, and then you're rotating so that the forearm is then going alongside your head when viewed from the side view. And if you can go even further, that's even better. So going here, I'm getting it kind of in line with my spine going this way. But if I can go even more, get more external rotation, that's even better. So you can see on my other side, if I notice that, oh man, one side is obviously not able to go as far, then that's gonna be my weaker side. It's probably the side that gets really annoyed and achy and cranky when we're doing more intense activities. So you can start off with this exercise going to fatigue, going with nice slow controlled reps, and going to the end of your absolute possible range without feeling like you're doing something painful and pinchy, just holding it up there and just going until those muscles in the backs of your shoulders get tired. And yes, you can do this one-sided. If you have one weaker side, then just do that weaker side so that you get more work for that weaker and less mobile side. Do each set to fatigue, probably 10, maybe 20 repetitions, and then take a little rest, 30 to 60 seconds, and then do another round. And if you have a weaker side that you want to work on, just do that side for one more round. When you want to make this harder, just grab some light weights to start and then just do the exercise the exact same way. You're just going to use this extra resistance to create more strength. There's going to be more demand on those muscles, and then they got to work harder, and then they get much stronger. You can set this up at the gym using the cable machine, or you can use some bands and just pull alongside your head, but I really like setting it up at home. Really easy this way because you don't need any equipment and you'll still get a really decent workout for your shoulders. Once you've done that, we can work on the backs of the shoulders a little more, get the rear delts. So same basic setup, and we're just gonna let our arms hang, and then we're going to come out to the side like so. So it's like we're flapping our wings. If you keep your thumbs pointed down towards the floor at this end position, you're going to be targeting the rear delts more, and that's what we're trying to do. You can, however, experiment. You can have the thumbs pointing up and see how that feels, and you can even try to rotate even more than that and see how that feels. You could, if you wanted to get really funky, go like this so that the thumbs are kind of pointing towards the wall. Any of those are good, those are fine. You want to have choices and options and stability in all these positions. If we're really trying to just get at the rear delt, then I'd say probably just keep those thumbs pointing down towards the floor, but feel free, absolutely feel free to experiment with different positions and see where you're most weak and keep working on those weak angles and positions. And just like that last exercise, feel free to add weight once you feel ready, and you can start building more strength in the posterior shoulder to really stabilize stuff so that it feels comfortable when you are doing cardio. I only say cardio with a question mark because I really hate doing cardio and I really generally never do it. My only cardio is really surfing or running, but I don't really run, so it's mostly surfing, but that's not really cardio because it's just mostly some quick sprints from time to time. Not saying that cardio is bad, but I think some of you out there overdo your cardio. So with this exercise, again, go to fatigue, go 10 to 20 repetitions, make sure you feel the backs of your shoulders working, and do 2 rounds. And if you have a weaker side, you can of course do one side extra so that it can catch up to the strength of the other side. Make sure you take enough rests between sets so that your form doesn't suffer and that you're able to get the right feeling in the muscles in the back of your shoulder. For a full program to help you fix your shoulder problems, be sure to check out the Shoulder Fix on my website. I'll have the link right here down below. If you want to improve your shoulder blade control and get rid of knots between your shoulder blades, I've got a great free video for that. And I've also got a free mini course with tips for you if you have shoulder pain. I'm going to link to both of those right here. To support this channel, hit the thanks button or use the PayPal link down below, and I promise I will not use your money to buy a sling for my shoulder. Like, share, and subscribe with the bell notification on. And as always, I hope you remember that pain sucks, life shouldn't.